you tell me what you had for breakfast this morning?
I had tea for breakfast. And that's it.
What kind of tea?
Irish breakfast. I go back to my heritage.
All right, so we are rolling, Dave. You good?
Yeah.
All right, so if you could just set it up for us, where are we, what happened tonight, and what did you participate in?
Basically, I was part of an improvisation that was organized by Lance Grease that involved Michel Boulet, KJ Holmes, Thomas Heberer, and myself. It was a 25-minute, 30-minute piece or something like that. Improvisation. Structured, I think, primarily by Lance, and then once we figured out some structure, we just played totally.
And post performance, how are you feeling? How did you think it went? How did the performance go for you?
I thought it went well overall. I mean, it's interesting living these things. I mean, and that's what it's kind of about. Sometimes you go in there and I've performed in this space a number of times, and I haven't performed with these group of people ever. I mean, I've danced with Lance like 20 some odd years ago, and KJ I've known since the 80s. So anyway, I thought it went well. I think we were listening, and Thomas played. It was beautiful what he was playing, and the long tones, and then the melody, and us sort of playing off of each other. I don't know if it's something more specific.
I know it was indeed a very, very beautiful performance.
Thank you.
What are you? I'm just curious. Like on a personal level, what are you feeling after the music starts, when the performance starts? What are you feeling emotionally, psychologically, physically? What's going on inside?
Well, of course you get nervous in the beginning, and then you go, okay, I'm just going to go out there and I have to live it. And part of it during the process of doing it is there was some structure that I was listening to, but also going like, what am I saying physically? Like, what am I responding to? Whether it's the other dancers or the music, or feeling like, okay, what's the language I'm using? Whether it's something abstract or something gestural, or I feel underneath it for myself. I like playing with narrative. I like playing with this idea of sort of what you can call it, this line between dancing and pedestrian, but what are these places, iconic physical places that maybe evoke another feeling or another tableau or narrative that you might not have seen, and so shifting that thing or actually writing it for myself, like this is where I want to go. So the tempo is like, okay, now it's really slow, or maybe you're playing with a lot of rhythm to shift it up, or when I was running around, just opening the space up, what is that feel? So for me, it's an ongoing checking in and living it, and then seeing what arises from that.
And are you familiar with Arts for Art Vision Festival?
I am familiar with it. This is the first time I've ever performed in it. I've been asked to perform in it before, but my schedule won't permit. I remember from a while back when they were performing on this small bar in the East Village. So I've known of it for a while, but
so actually, we're celebrating 20 years of.
I know it's kind
So
of
what is
amazing.
the significance of an organization like Arts for Art, a festival like the Vision Festival for music, for dance? Why is this important for New York, for the planet?
I think it's important for New York because New York, I'm from New York originally, and one of the things that saddens me is that because of real estate and everything else, artists are being pushed further and further out. To have something like this in Judson Church, which is historic and known for its social, political histories, as well as its religious history, as you want to call it, I think it's a great hotbed to plant this festival. I think it's significant to have the kind of venue where people can come and go, and you have a wide roster of people playing that you don't get a chance to see in one place that's located well as it's in a venue that it's affordable. I feel like it's affordable to actually see a lot of people for not too much money. I think the inclusion of dance is so important because people don't think about dance. And I think it's sort of funny. One of the things that in the back of my mind I was wondering about is people are always open to open jazz, this, that, and the other. But when it comes to dance and they see something abstract, they wonder, oh, I have to understand what it is. I don't get it. And I'm wondering, why is it that you have to understand this, but the other things you don't? Why can't you just sort of let it wash over you and see, okay, what does that feel to you? What do you take from that? Whether it is something or not. But I think for me, whenever I dance, there is a certain song going on. There's always music. So I'm just sort of amplifying it a little bit in another way, which I find the musicians are doing the same thing. And I think it's a great introduction and cross-pollination between the two forms.
Beautiful, beautiful. Very well said. In close, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the theme of this year's festival is standing on the shoulders. Kind of like, passing on a torch, like, kind of respecting the past, respecting the musicians of the past, dancers of the past, and then kind of, and also moving ahead as well. What does that mean to you, that theme, standing on the shoulders?
Well, I think it's always about legacy. It's always about legacy. I mean, you realize you're not here if it wasn't for your parents. You're not here if it wasn't for the people before you fighting for the rights for you to be here, or taking you from one place to another. For those people breaking the boundaries, I can't do what I'm doing now if people who I've worked with before hadn't done the work they've done. If I hadn't worked with Trisha Brown, what would I be speaking? How would I know a lot of things? But I mean, I feel. I was at the McDowell Colony last year, and one of their traditions is that whenever you stay in a house, there's a plaque that has a list of all of the artists that have stayed there before you. And to me, that was deeply moving because you realize that you're sharing this space with history, and that James Baldwin was in this house, or so-and-so was in this house, or Rocco, or whatever, and you realize, wow, I'm part of a tradition. And this is part of a tradition. And knowing I'd met Henry Threadgill years ago, I worked with Graham Haynes, I worked with Oliver Lake, in the early 80s, and then realizing, okay, this is history. And I tell this to people because I'm 56 this year. And I realized you don't know life until you really live it, and you become the carrier of history. And that's when you get the perspective of oh, this is what it was like. So then so this is what it's like now, but you don't know what it was like back then. You've read about it, but unless you've lived it, then you don't really understand the legacy that's really being passed down to you, how much to really appreciate it. So.
Very well said, very well said. I think we got it.